By September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic, and we'll be able to eliminate those exposures.
They make you feel that if you don't just say yes to everything, your child's going to die.
Bobby Kennedy has said he will have an answer by September. Tick tock, that's coming up pretty fast as to what is causing the childhood autism pandemic. Now, in a sense, that is a euphemism for are vaccines and the heavy childhood vaccine schedule contributing to the rise of autism and ADHD? What else could it be? Environmental factors, bad diet, the fact that it went undiagnosed. When I was a kid, you was just naughty. Now, everyone's got ADHD, everyone's autistic, no one can concentrate. For me, it seems likely that there is some connection between the peculiar number of vaccinations that are being mandated and the rise of autism. Certainly in the most general sense possible, I understand that the state and the sets of powers that the state serves benefit from a docile, sick, broken and disconnected population. But that's just the musings and reckonings of one man. What we want is hard evidence. And with Jay Bhattacharya at the NIH, meaning he's the person that determines which clinical trials take place and how they are funded, by your tax dollars, of course, we are likely to at last get some answers to whether or not there's a link between vaccines and autism. And wouldn't you think that the people that make vaccines would be pretty keen for those clinical trials to take place? From the most basic understanding possible, the fact that vaccines are granted indemnity from legal action makes them a pretty unique business. If we were to sell you a product and that product made you sick and ill, say if it was, I don't know, a kombucha or 1775 coffee or whatever, if it made you ill, you can sue the company. You can't do that with vaccines, or when you do that, it's the government that generally handles the legal costs or consequences of those cases. So, let me know in the comments and chat, should pharmaceutical companies be given the tariffs that Donald Trump is talking about? Should their unique status be ended? And do you believe that Bobby Kennedy will have the power to expose what appears to be some kind of duplicity, deception, dishonesty, or at least opacity behind the pharmaceutical industry? Let me know in the comments and chat. Let's have a look now at Bobby Kennedy's claim that he will have an answer soon. And as you know, I love and trust Bobby.
And we're trying to refocus the press to get them to pay attention to the chronic disease epidemic as you've asked us to. We have now 38% of American youth are pre-diabetic. This was unknown 30 years ago. Every child that becomes diabetic, there should be a headline about them. We have 100 million adults who are pre-diabetic or diabetic. And we have, we have now the autism rates have gone from now most recent numbers we think are going to be about 1 in 31, 1 in 12, so they're going up again from 1 in 10,000 when I was a kid. And we are going, at your direction, we are going to know by September. We've launched a massive testing and research effort that's going to involve hundreds of scientists from around the world. By September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic, and we'll be able to eliminate those exposures.
So big. Think of that. So it was 1 in 10,000 children had autism, and now it's 1 in 31. Not 31,000, 31. That's a horrible statistic, isn't it? And there's got to be something artificial out there that's doing this. So you think you're going to have a pretty good idea, huh?
We will know by September.
There will be no bigger news conference than that. So that's it. If you can come up with that answer where you stop taking something, you stop eating something, or maybe it's a shot, but something's causing it. It can't be from 10,000 to. Can you imagine that, Marco? That's a big number. Thank you very much. You're doing great. Thank you, Bobby.
By the way that Donald Trump does things, I goes, could you believe that, Marco? Just sort of conversationally pulling Marco Rubio into this matter. Now, I know that some people in online spaces believe that Bobby Kennedy has been compromised in some ways. I've watched the reporting of Ian Carroll and Candace Owens, and so I know specifically what the claims are. But when it comes to this subject and this issue, the issue of the undue power of pharmaceutical companies, the potential that the pharmaceutical industry, as well as the food industry, in some peculiar, inert and institutional way, are responsible for the poisoning of American children and the American population at large, turning us into sort of bloated blobs. I'm not American, of course. Bloated blobs, incapable of conscious thought or discernment, incapable of critical thinking, just being ushered through mazes towards the grave. Everywhere an airport now, checks and balances always applied to the population, never applied to those in power. Absolute transparency for us. Everything about us, the past, the future, continually scrutinized, analyzed. Tony Blair pushing digital ID, which just means more control for them, more ability to penalize and control, while very powerful institutions seem to benefit from deep clandestine opacity. I wonder if we will get all of the disclosure and declarations that have been discussed. Let me know in the comments and chat what you think about that. Let me know if you agree with Ian Carroll, for example, that the Epstein files are the ones that are most significant, that these are the files that would reveal most clearly the true nature of power. If you are trying to get some balance in this crazy world that we occupy now, where some people absolutely love Elon Musk and some people loathe Elon Musk, and the same can be said of AOC or Trump or any one of us, then what I like to do, and tell me if you agree with this, is find commentators from a variety of political perspectives and see if you can find any consistency in what they're saying. And beyond that, acknowledge that all human beings are flawed and failing and broken. All of us, none of us are better than one another. We're all on our knees, shoulder to shoulder, lined up at the foot of the cross, praying for forgiveness, turning away from sin, and hoping that the blood of Christ will be sufficient for us. One person who's been very critical of my friend Bobby Kennedy, who I love, is Candace Owens, who I also actually love, as a matter of fact. Here she is saying that she experienced, as a new mother, a great deal of pressure to vaccinate her children. Loads of you watching this will be parents. You'll know what it's like if you try and take your kid to a doctor. They want to know about the vaccine schedule. Well, if you're part of that group of people who don't vaccinate your children unless you think your children are at a particular risk from a particular condition, then you'll know what that pressure is like. Let's have a look at Candace Owens' view on vaccines. So now we've had Bobby Kennedy. We know where Bobby stands. We've seen Trump, who's changing his position. Here's Candace Owens.
I want people to make decisions for themselves. I am not pushing for people not to vaccinate their children. I am pushing for parents to have a broader understanding of the manipulation that takes place, because I know how, and I went in there strong, how they make first-time mothers feel. They make you feel that if you don't just say yes to everything, your child's going to die. Like, there's no in between, there's no fine line, just like with COVID, stay inside, save lives. If you see your grandmother, you're a terrible person. It's the same thing. And there's no one more vulnerable than a woman who's just had a child, because all you want to do is protect that child. And maybe your instinct is saying like, wow, he's so itty bitty. Should he be really getting all of these needles and vaccines? Then the doctor is just like, are you crazy? They give him a script, which I show on my show.
Central Scrutinizer. Do you vax your children, Russell? What do you think? We've always believed in empowering voices, no matter how unpopular. Now we're taking the fight to the next level. When major advertisers conspired to pull their dollary dues, even brands like Dirty Dunkin' Donuts, which I think of as being a bit like the Dunkin' Donut of that Tesla guy that wiped his hand on his butt. Remember him, this guy? Dunkin' Donuts is the donut equivalent of that. The free speech hating pigs, claiming that Rumble had a right-wing culture. How dare they? We're excited to offer you Rumble Premium, a completely ad-free experience with exclusive benefits for viewers and creators. You'll find exclusive content from creators like Russell Brand. Hey, I'm him. Dr. Disrespect. That's my actual doctor. Timcast. Yeah, Timpo. The Mug Club. Yeah, go on, Crowder. We're going to come there. We're going to go on that show. It's more than a subscription. It's a stand for free speech. You're subscribing to freedom. Your voice matters. Join Rumble Premium. For a limited time, you can get $10 off an annual plan using the promo code BRAND. Visit rumble.com/premium, promo code BRAND. Together, we can turn the tide. Whether you join Rumble Premium or simply keep watching, your support helps keep free speech alive. Join Rumble Premium and help keep free speech alive, baby.
A script. If the mother asks any questions, like basically gaslight her and say these things. I showed them the script on the CDC website. Like if she has any questions.
Are you kidding?
Oh, it 100% exists. Yeah. And I'm going, think about what they're doing. They are training them how to psychologically convince you when you have reasonable questions. And what you said before is actually so important, Jillian. You said, I know that you believe that vaccines can impact one people one way and some people another way. Yeah, you're correct. That's why this is insane. One size never fits all. We know that one size doesn't fit all.
We don't even know why it impacts.
I had a seizure when I had Gardasil. Mini seizure. In the doctor's office. So there was no like, could this have been something else? It never happened, dropped instantly on the floor. My sister got it and didn't have that happen. So of course, one size does not fit all. And so that should actually be your reason why you want to learn about vaccines. Right. Because the fact that they're saying every kid needs this at the exact same time is implying that we are all just like the exact same carbon copy of one another, which we are.
You know, these are crazy, scary times for me personally, and it seems for the world at large. But isn't it somewhat heartening to hear conversations of this nature reaching the mainstream? Isn't it interesting to acknowledge that the nature and shape and the constituency and consistency of the mainstream is altered now forever? That whether or not you believe that the new administration and even new media figures are 100% reliable, of course they're not, no one is, at least you can now acknowledge that a new type of discourse is taking place, that Candace Owens can say publicly and openly, as a result really of technology and the rise of new media, I am deeply cynical about vaccines, and Bobby Kennedy can conduct an investigation, and Donald Trump can over his shoulder ask Marco Rubio what he thinks. Now, let's get into this extraordinary fact. Many people are racked with doubt, concern and consternation when it comes to the subject of tariffs, but tariffs really is a way of marshalling national interests and, for me, a way of helping us investigate our true feelings about consumerism and commodity. Clearly, when you see a Chinese handbag manufacturer, purse manufacturer, saying, good luck making them handbags all over the world because you simply don't have the standards, the ability or the economic models to handle the freight. It makes me realise that we've become too infatuated with commodity. We're still down at the altars of Moloch and Baal, worshipping false idols. These days must end. They must end. Maybe tariffs can be a good thing. Let us now work out whether or not tariffs are the answer to all the world's problems, including ending childhood autism. Donald Trump is saying that pharmaceutical companies now might be subject to tariffs.
The drug companies, listen to them, but we're going to do something that we have to do. We're going to tariff our pharmaceuticals, and once we do that, they're going to come rushing back into our country because we're the big market. The advantage we have over everybody is that we're the big market. So we're going to be announcing very shortly a major tariff on pharmaceuticals, and when they hear that, they will leave China, they will leave other places because they have to sell. Most of their product is sold here, and they're going to be opening up their plants all over the place in our country. We're going to be announcing that, so that's breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news.
This isn't a perfect world. It's not meant to be a perfect world. Those of us that are Christian believe that the world is controlled by the evil one. The institutions have been captured. That's there in black and white again and again in the New Testament. The Old Testament is full of the fact that we are fallen. We're given signs, we're given love, we're given food, we're given freedom, and we simply can't handle it or control it. There's no reason for any partisan person to say anything positive about Donald Trump or Bobby Kennedy. All they want to do is cling to the heels of an Obama somewhere, and what heels they are. And in order to continue to believe that the material world can deliver you from sin and brokenness, you have to shut down your mind pretty hard. I reckon that things are improving, if not as radically as they could, or maybe even ought, under the new administration, at least with this autism issue, this autism conversation, this vaccine conversation, this willingness to oppose Big Pharma, to tariff Big Pharma, this willingness to try something new, at least is better than what it was. Is it enough? Of course it's not enough. It will never be enough. We have to find new ways of governing. We have to find ways of making straight the path for the return of the Holy One and the Holy Principle. And that's going to require all of us to one degree or another. All of us are participants, aren't we, in this super state of undifferentiated material that flows through us all. Surely all of us are responsible for somehow ensuring that the wave of all potential, when it hits us, becomes a particular. And if there were any shape at all, Lord alone knows that we would rather it weren't the swastika. Lord alone knows that it would be the shape of the cross. Lord alone knows that the vertical and the horizontal have to intersect at some point, and let it be the heart. Let all of our hearts be open to new and radical change. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat? And remember, get Rumble Premium if you want to support us further. We do additional content every day. Like today, we're going to hang around for an extra 20 minutes or so and talk on Rumble Premium. Plus, you'll be supporting me, as well as supporting Mug Club, Bongino Army. They've got to have somewhere to go. Timcast, they've got to have somewhere to go. Please stop with this second coming shit, says S. Range-Eyed. What do you think the solution's going to be? AOC, what do you think the solution's going to be? Nigel Farage, what do you think the solution's going to be? Racism? Islam? Where do you think the solution's coming from, my friends? Let me know, because my mind is open. Not so open that my brain's going to fall out, but Lord alone knows it's open to hope.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.